everybody. Welcome to the Shrimp City Report. My name's Devin. We are Charleston's finest podcast on leisure, living, sports, pretty much everything that we like. Joined today with my co-host and not co-son, but only son, DJ. How you doing today?
Good. I mean, for you, we're hitting all three, right? Leisure, sports, and life for you.
Yeah. I have to say that this is a special episode. We're going to be talking my favorite sport in the world in my entire life. What's going on is in Charleston on November 20th, there is a big pro wrestling, I guess you can call it a spectacle at this point, with MLW coming into town. And we'll talk about the match and their promotion with Gato, Tequila, and all of those details. But today we have the pleasure of getting in the Andersons, and that's C.W. Anderson and Brock Anderson, tag team that's currently in MLW right now. And how are you guys doing?
Well, we're good, Devin, DJ. Thank you so much for having us.
Where are y'all located right now?
Brock?
So I'm in Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah,
Born and raised, never left. C-Dub's more up around Raleigh, outside and towards Zebulon, right?
Yeah, I'm east of Raleigh. Yeah, born and raised, same farm I've been on since 1983.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. My North Carolina family is from the Dunn and Lillington area. Pretty familiar with that. You're actually from, what's the name of the town you live in?
Enid.
Enid. That's it.
Okay. It's time spelled backwards. It is a crossroad. If you blink, you will miss it.
That is the most southern town I've ever heard of, too.
But my address, it gets more southern. My address is actually Middlesex. It's middle and sex thrown together. So there you go.
So, Brock, you're around Pineville, Matthew. You went to Providence, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Sure did. Down south, just inside the belt line on the south side, 485.
Okay, well, I have a question we ask this a lot to our guests that have parents that are in any kind of business. To some of our listeners, they're not going to possibly understand the power of the Anderson family and Arn Anderson, your father. What was it like growing up there and in Charlotte with a dad that was a super famous wrestler?
So, I mean, y'all get it. Y'all are from the Carolinas.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There's a certain demographic and a certain age that growing up, anytime we left the house, if we went to like Chuck E. Cheese or Celebration Station, or we went out to dinner, or we were shooting pool, it didn't matter where, at the gym, somebody, not necessarily all the time, knew he was Arn Anderson, but they knew he was an Anderson. I'd hear a lot of, man, you look a lot like Gene Anderson or something. And man, you look like, man, are you Ole Anderson? They would know he's an Anderson. They wouldn't exactly know he's Arn, but in that area of the country, I mean, talking 85 through 89, if you're from the Carolinas, it was pro wrestling, NASCAR, college basketball.
Right, yeah. Were kids even expecting you to, I don't know, have that gene pool, that wrestling gene pool where they're trying to square up with you as you were growing up?
Elementary school, no. High school and college, no. Middle school, yes. Because in middle school across the board is the worst time in anybody's life. It's just everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to make you feel down on yourself. It's terrible. So yeah, a couple times in middle school, a couple kids tried, but I was like a $135 at age 12. So I wasn't having to worry about it too much.
Right on. Well, y'all were both athletes coming up anyway. You played football, right? CW, you were like big into baseball, right?
Yeah, drafted out of high school with the San Diego Padres.
Oh, that's awesome.
In 1989.
Well, 89. And then can you imagine going to San Diego right then out of, that part of North Carolina? So what'd you decide to do instead? Go to school?
Yep. Mom talked me out of it. An 18-year-old kid that has never been anywhere, never done anything, never even went outside of the Carolinas. They wanted to send me, I think it was to Arizona. And you got to remember back then, this is before the Latin explosion of catchers come through. And my idol was the catcher for the San Diego Padres, Benito Santiago. And he's always been my idol. So, because I was like him, I threw from my knees. When they scouted me, they were actually scouting the pitcher. Man, they got me because they clocked me to second base from my knees at 90 miles an hour. I had a cannon and I had white boy speed. So you can remember it was just average. I was like a 6'2" in the 20 type of speed. I had a good bat, but mom talked me out of it, told me to go to school. She said, pros always be there, get your education. Hindsight 2020, I should have went to the pros because college would have always been there, but I didn't know any better. And there's not a day that don't go by and I don't think about that, what would have happened. But also, if, again, I would never be here, never be CW, and long to have that career that I had. So it happened for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, those are considerations you have to have. In your case, Brock, I mean, was there an expectation that you were going to be a professional wrestler?
No, farthest thing from it. My dad never pushed it on me. He did when I told him at about 12, 13, when I told him I did, like, this is what I want to do. I mean, you're 13. He took it with a grain of salt, but he's like, if this is what you really want to do, he almost basically made it a prerequisite that I wrestle amateur in high school too, just to learn those basics. Even though it's not a tit for tat translation, there's still that framework in pro wrestling.
So do you think you had developed a discipline, at least with that mat wrestling and amateur wrestling?
Oh, absolutely. You have to. It's the best cardio shape I'd ever been in my life. I mean, amateur wrestling's probably the hardest sport there is, at least at least single. I mean, it's not necessarily a team sport. It's basically just you and what you can get out of yourself.
I mean, I guess to that point, do you feel like, and this goes for both y'all, like baseball, football, those sports kind of help drill in like the discipline that's required for wrestling?
For tag team wrestling?
Yeah.
Well, for me, baseball definitely, because the coaches I had here in the Carolinas were very sought after. They were very good, and they taught the discipline. Like, my coach was very hard on me as far as he used to. I don't know if I think Brock, since he played football, he know what crabs are as far as cardio and working out, or as far as drills. He used to make me do that in my catcher's equipment if I screwed up in the game and things like that. So discipline was definitely drilled into me, and also as a team sport. So that's also why I enjoy tag team wrestling so much, is just the team aspect of it, the give and take. Then, there's somebody there with you looking out for your back, and vice versa.
I couldn't have said it better.
Okay, so the sport you're in right now, what you do for a living now, strenuous as hell. I can't imagine how y'all stay in ring shape or anything like that. So those lessons you learned early have got to pay off well. To that point, the first time you get into the business, is that first trainer the most important thing, or are there pro wrestlers that go through one or two trainers getting through? What's that?
Yeah, is it almost like trial and error to find that right trainer for you?
Back then, it was a lot harder to find a good trainer. Like, I never really had a formal trainer when I got into business. It wasn't until 1997, 98 when I did the 3 days of hell at the WCW power plant.
Okay.
Through that to where I actually got somebody that was a trainer. Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, Pez Watley, and Mike Winter kind of molded me into the guy that got his job at ECW. And it was just like going to different people. Like, my partner at the time was a product of Ivan Koloff, and the guys I ran around with in the Carolinas were products of Ivan Koloff, because not many, don't know who knows it, but I started myself, the Hardys, Hurricane Helms, Joey Abs. There was like 15 of us that all started together in Raleigh that all made it to WCW, WWF, or ECW. But finding a good trainer was really hard back then. There's trainers now that are really good, but again, you just have to find the right one, somebody that's been there, done that, and knows their stuff.
How about you, Brock?
Well, I've only ever had the one trainer. I was very fortunate enough that Lodi had Team Fearless here in Charlotte.
There you go. Just saw him wrestle at JCW the other day.
He's the best. As good of a trainer as he is, he's a better person. So he was really good in establishing the fundamentals. He's really big on mat work. We're not just doing blow up drills just to do blow up drills. He's not there to take anybody's money. Or
I wonder where he got that from.
There you have it.
I'm the one that trained Lodi.
I know. I was about to mention.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, we definitely got to dip into Anderson Academy as well, right?
Yeah, or all that. Yeah. So, one point about Lodi that is cool, that you are also, he's known as a stand-up guy and a spiritual guy as well. So that's it's really nice to be under that tutelage as well. It's not just being sports, athletics, business tutelage, but also be grounded in some faith. We do promote that on this show. So,
And agree. And just as far as the training aspect, it's good because my tag partner trained him. So it's not like you're going from one speed to another where somebody tells you, yeah, everything you learned, throw that out the window. Because I'm sure that happens sometimes. Because I think in this business, some people just go to a trainer because it's convenient. Whether that person has the credibility or not, that's up for question. But
yeah,
you see people go just because somebody has a school 30 miles down the road. I don't know if C-Dub agrees to that point.
It's 100% true. I have seen guys drive hour and a half to get to somebody good. And when people ask me for recommendations, I give them the recommendations here in the Carolinas. It depends on who they're near. But Brock's 100% right. It's the convenience because the average person looking to go to a training school doesn't know any better. A trainer that isn't that qualified or doesn't need to be training can sell the moon to them. And they'll believe because again, they just don't know any better.
I'm still getting over the fact that you pretty much couldn't write the script that Lodi was going to train your future partner who you trained him. And it's just that really makes for a compelling story, even if there's, even more to be told about the Anderson story. Who else did you train, CW?
Chili Willie, who was at W with me. I've trained several of the guys in the Carolinas that were from guy used to be Toad, who was Lodi's partner. He did a little in WCW. Guy Pat Cusick out of Virginia, Dustin Massey. He did a little bit on the Carolina. A lot of the guys that I think Lodi, Toad, Chili Willie, about the only ones that actually made it from my school. But there's a lot of the guys that have come under me that have made impact in the Carolinas. I got one of my students now, Victor Andrews. He runs his own promotion. He's done some stuff at WWE. He's really prominent, but I did a show one time not too long ago to where there's 30 some guys on the show and I've entangled with all like one person I trained. So it was like branches of a tree. Like, it started with me and then filtered out to everybody, which I thought was kind of cool.
Of course, you are wrestling with MLW coming up, Major League Wrestling, and you'll be in Charleston. The last event was a championship Chamber of Horrors match at Slaughterhouse. Number one, I believe that opened the show, didn't it?
It did.
So that's a tall order. So if no one that is listening is familiar, it's basically a cage match with barbed wire, an electric chair. There's also who was the attendant of the electric chair? What do they call those?
Some kind of
the executioner.
Executioner.
I don't know why my mind blanked on that. So it's already an intimidating event, and it's a multiple participant event. Brock, when y'all came out to that and looked at that cage, what was the first thing that crossed your mind?
I'm sure I'm sure this is a PG show, so I'm trying to think of not what I actually said.
Oh no, you can feel free to say.
Yeah, feel free. You're good.
Yeah,
maybe a synonym.
Yeah.
We walked out there and saw how much room we had to work with, and we said, "Fuck this shit." You got a chair in one corner and you got 3 tables occupying another and then 3 grown ass individuals also in there. And then top off the cake is we don't know who the mystery man's going to be. And it just, lo and behold, it's Chris Masters walks down to the ring. So that's just another layer to it. I was sitting there for a second thinking we had some sort of advantage being the only team in there, but we were wrong.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, then is there even room for anybody to do their signature full Nelson in there?
Yeah.
So. There wasn't a lot of room, but you got to figure Cruel, the MLW champion, he's like 6'12". Then you got Thomas. Thomas is like 6'6", and he's built like a brick shit house.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Chris Masters, who's another big one. Then you got Matthew Justice, who you got to watch him because he'll hit you in the face with a chair. Anything he can get his hands on, or he's jumping off the top. And then there's me and Brock.
And then you were also mentioning earlier that the setup with the electric chair was a little wonky too, right?
Yeah, it was. The chair was specifically built for that match, and it was big. It was like 4x4, 5x5 in the ring, and like Brock said, you had 3 tables in there, and it's the normal size ring, and it wasn't a cage that you could walk around the outside. I mean, it was like the old NWA cage. So Brock and I had no room, and then every table that got busted, there were shards of the table, there was screws. Somehow I got some huge burn on the back of my lat at the end of the night. And then if you go back and watch it, you can see me and Brock scampering around just trying to get out of the way.
It's like you're in the Towering Inferno or something, and you're keep along the floor to keep from the.
There's one shot of the camera right over Brock's shoulder, and he was smart. He didn't want to go anywhere. He was just sitting there letting it all play out, which I don't blame him. I would have too.
I mean, why not? However, I will note that you did one of the most honorable things I've ever seen in professional wrestling.
You bit the emotional bullet. Yeah.
Yeah. He, when Brock was about to get fried alive, you came in and sacrificed yourself in that.
Yes.
So,
yeah. I told his dad from the beginning that I was going to look out for him and take care of him. And that was the one thing I did. But when I saw him getting put in that chair, I went, shit. Here we go.
Are you sure Arn Anderson didn't go, damn, CW, I didn't tell you to go that far. It's a freaking electric chair.
It was all I could do to get Cruel out of the way. And as soon as I threw Brock out there, it was Cruel with that electricity that could keep a damn T-Rex in the cage. So,
oh my gosh. Well, Brock, do you have some thank yous to say?
Absolutely. I didn't even know where I was. Just the fact that he yanked 250 pounds of dead weight out like that just muscled me up. That should be commended, let alone the follow-up of him getting electrocuted almost half to death.
Yeah, the one thing people don't see and don't know about is like one of mine and Brock's big thing afterwards is to get something to eat. And it's usually because we're really good on our diet, and that's night we just blow it out. And we're sitting in our hotel room watching something on TV, sitting there eating a pizza, and all I hear is, C-Dub, thank you.
It's funny that you mentioned like food. You know, both we have this actually put it on our notes, and this might actually start a war in of itself. Y'all are both from the Carolinas, both y'all are in Raleigh and Charlotte, and we're from South Carolina, you know, Charleston. We got a tart barbecue, right? At one point.
I knew it was coming.
I mean, there's 2 points to make. First, you know, pork versus beef, and then of course we have to choose a sauce, which that can start a fist fight in itself if you're from the low country.
In my opinion, from the Carolinas, is I don't think beef is a barbecue. It's got to be pork.
Yeah,
I hear you.
I grew up slaughtering hogs with my granddaddy and stuff, so I know what, you know, along that line what it is. But as far as the sauce, it's got to be that vinegary base one. That's for me.
Yeah, Eastern style, hands down, vinegar base. West can get a little bit too saucy, and I know if y'all leave I'm in with that mustard stuff y'all got down there, it's where there's going to be a problem. Ain't nobody got mustard stuff.
The interview might be over.
Yeah.
That is, oh my God, it's funny because my family was Eastern North Carolina, even though I lived here, you know, it was vinegar and the mustard base. So they never mixed it or something. I think the only people I've ever seen that could actually maybe mix a few of the styles is John Boy and Billy used to have a sauce.
Oh yeah.
And so that was pretty rad, but that's about the only way. Yeah, the yellow sauce, I don't know about that. And to your point, CW, growing up here, I mean, I never saw beef barbecue until I was probably 40, honestly.
I didn't either. And then you know, when you start traveling and people start calling it pulled pork, you're not from me. You're not Southern to me. Pulled pork with barbecue.
And I do like it chopped. That's the way I do it. So, or the way I prefer. But it's funny how often that comes up, you know, with the barbecue. And we got so many people that are moving into town and into the low country. You know, I mean, the Carolinas themselves, everybody wants to live here now.
It's tough nowadays with like the major cities. It's hard to find like those meat and threes that you're like get so used to, and then they all just end up like pushed out in the outskirts of town, you know.
So my buddy lives on, I think, James Island, if that's right.
Yep.
And I was just down there not too long ago, and it's the same thing here in Charlotte and Raleigh. C-Dub's a little bit more out, but even to him, he said he's starting to notice people moving out. It's everybody, you know, since COVID, it seems like Carolinas, Tennessee, it's just hotbeds for people moving here. And I know Charleston, y'all got something wonky with the roads. I know it's like one of the oldest cities in America.
Yeah.
A road will just literally split off for no reason. And if you miss it, you miss it.
And then the downtown part with all the one ways and everything. Yeah, you are. And I'm going to tell you, Waze or whatever maps or something, it never updates enough either. We still get lost, and I even know how to get to places. Well, to the point, okay, let's talk about tag team wrestling. C-Dub's a grizzled veteran. Brock comes from a tradition of tag team wrestling. How much of this can you game plan for a match? It seems like once you go in and, to misquote Mike Tyson, when you get punched, all your plans go away. I mean, Brock, how are you playing off of CW during a match?
I think like any good tag team, we're starting to get to the point where it's just the look in his eyes. Look in his eyes or just a body movement or a gesture. I know where we're going next. And I think it's almost telepathic, and just the Anderson way, just the blueprint in itself, regardless of how we get there, is take a body part and render it useless. Three-legged table's worth nothing.
Yeah.
There you go. Right on. How about you, CW?
For the longest time in tag team wrestling, my old buddy Steve Carino called me a general because I like taking control of the match. And that's kind of how I see things now, is like I oversee most of the guys we're in the ring with. I've either wrestled before or seen them for a while. So I know some of their tricks and tips and stuff like that. And in the beginning, it was verbal stuff to Brock. This is coming next. This is what we're going to do next. Here. I give him the game plan while we're riding to the show. We're at the hotel. Right before we walk out, if we can get the time, we're going to do this, this, and this. And now, like he said, he knows my body movement. He knows what's coming next. I don't really have to say much. I got one-word cues. He's got one-word cues. He's giving it back just as much as I'm giving it to him. So that's the part of tag team wrestling we like, is it's a chess match. And I'm a very good chess player, so I love watching that part of it. And that's the skill and the magic of tag team wrestling, is you got these two people that are synced together. It's almost like that movie Pacific Rim, where you got the two guys, soldiers that are synced together. That's kind of how it's going to be in Brock.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I wish showed better on, I guess, the viewer end, because it's tough. Like the amount of like communication and strategy, like you said, is required. But for the viewer, it's all adrenaline going through you while you're watching this stuff,
That's the whole point, is to get them and get the fans involved and get that adrenaline running with them, so they're just as involved into the match as we are.
Yeah.
I guess I don't think about that a lot of times, because I figure, everything that you're doing in the ring is to win that match, but keeping the fans engaged as well. Geez, that's got to be pretty damn satisfying when you know that you have them in the palm of your hands, right, guys?
Yeah. There's something that'll happen in the match or whatever, and we're all laying there and standing there, and one of us, usually it's me, because I talk the whole time I'm in the ring.
Yeah.
Say something to the fact of, got them, because we know they're involved with it just as much as we are, which makes it easier for us, and the bumps don't hurt quite as bad when they're into it because of the adrenaline.
Yeah, I wonder. I was about to say, what's it feel like? A half hour or an hour after a match. Is that about the time it usually turns on for y'all, for the pain or the whatever?
Usually waking up the next morning. You don't go to bed till about 1:30 or 2 because you're just running off the adrenaline. Then you wake up the next morning and things start to hurt. Or C-Dub has a knack of just ending up with bruises, like you mentioned earlier, that he has no idea how he got.
Phantom bruises.
Every time I come back, we'll be in the hotel. I'm like, the hell did I get that? What's here? I have no clue, no idea what's going on. And Brock's right. The adrenaline runs for us to about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, especially when we're with MLW. We're always flying, and then just try to get some kind of semblance of sleep. And you're waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock to catch a flight, and you feel like you're what I call this in the weeds, because you're sore, you can't hardly move. It's a little worse for me just being my age now, but yeah, it's like Brock said, it's the next morning where you're like, the hell am I doing?
Well, you must love it. You've been doing it long enough.
Yeah, it's a drug. It's a drug to an extent.
And hell, y'all are good. I mean, it's not just you're like olded in the way or something. You're still accomplishing stuff. I mean, you're getting titles. You're getting title shots. Hey, everyone. We really want to encourage you to visit the refinery in Charleston, South Carolina. The refinery is a beautiful mixed-use facility that's home to upscale office space, 2 restaurants, the Limbo Lounge, and an amphitheater that hosts national, regional, and local acts year-round. We cannot recommend it enough. Go to the refinery, chs.com, to get event and venue information. You can also go to the site to learn how you can even book the spaces you want for your own event. So go check them out, and thanks. Listen, this event that's coming up, y'all are both going to be there. MLW is super hot right now. Man, as soon as this event started up and the lineup hit, people were tickets here. And I think what's unique, and I don't know if y'all have ever wrestled in an environment like this, is it's kind of an old music hall opera house. So the ring is going to be at least partly on the stage. Have y'all ever wrestled in a setup like that where it's part of the ring is on a stage and not out in the arena?
Yeah, a few times. Probably the best one I've done is in Roanoke Rapids, up North Carolina. It's an opera looking type building. It looks like something from Australia, actually. Dolly Parton there, things like that. And it's when my friends, the Hardys and Hurricane Helms, were running Omega Wrestling, and I actually wrestled Adam Page on that show. And there's 3,000 people, or however many what that thing felt like 3,000, probably like 1,500 that were sitting all in the stand in the seats, and we're on the stage. But
yeah,
it's kind of a different environment.
So it's like you're having to work that side the entire time, I guess.
Yeah, instead of the whole arena, you got one side to focus on. Brock, did you ever work on a stage like that?
So, I mean, Daly's for AEW was like that. The only problem was it was outside, so that it was pretty good because the roof, so it kind of kept it in, but the sound would go out the sides too. And I want to say, I don't know if I was on the card or not, but we would run the James L. Knight Center in Miami.
Oh, okay.
Like that. It's like basically a 5,000 seat amphitheater.
Okay, so y'all will be used to that. This is cool too at the Charleston, the music hall, because it's pretty intimate. All the seats are really good. The balconies overhang very well.
The overhang's actually going to be an awesome seat, I think, for the show, just because you're going to be able to see everything. Yeah.
So there's a lot of there's a really good card. I know they added Killer Cross and Scarlet and Mystico and the Skyscrapers, and yet more people that just get in the way of a match because they're so gigantic. So have y'all been to Charleston before much? Brock, you said you had a friend in James Island. You were just recently here. Have y'all ever just hung out much in Charleston or the Low Country?
Yeah, we bopped around a lot. I've been down there a few times since he moved there. I've had a couple people live there and move, and then my college roommate lives there now.
Okay.
And he lives on James, so we've been over to the Folly Beach a couple times.
There you go.
I mean, can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know the area, but it's wherever Saltwater Cowboys is.
Yeah.
That little area of bars. We were down there, was it 1 or 2 months ago, where the hurricane was out in the ocean, but all the rain was coming in, and like downtown Charleston was flooding. There was probably like 2 feet of water downtown.
Oh, yeah. That's like a regular Friday down here these past couple of months.
That was specific. So
that was pretty bad.
So the event, though, has a unique sponsor. It's Don Gato Tequila, right?
Yes.
It is. And Don Gato is a luchador himself. We might get a special appearance by him at that. So also part of that is the Opera Cup finals. And that's really interesting because, it goes along with the Opera House aspect of wrestling. Listen, honestly, I didn't know about the Opera House Cup. Were either one of y'all or even DJ familiar with that long-running wrestling competition?
Just discovering this through our research that we did, yeah.
I think I knew MLW did it. I didn't that it had some distinguished history like it did. It runs back to like the 1890s or something. It's something ridiculous that I didn't know about.
Yeah, something very far. It sounds more like, okay, so when I was growing up, territories. So I grew up on Mid-Atlantic, WCW, then of course Georgia was broadcast here. So that was a steady diet of everything. So the funny thing growing up, the only time I ever heard of any other wrestlers are through Apter mags. And of course I would never see them when we were kids. There's a lot of wrestling that when we were young, we didn't get to see, but now it's ubiquitous. It's on so many streaming media. There's a lot of promotions. It seems like every promotion is doing decent, doing nice. And so it's, the rising tides floating all the boats. I know y'all are happy to be with MLW on these. They are running, how often they run? About once a month or?
A month. Yeah.
Okay. So how do y'all like that pace of doing once a month? And do you take bookings otherwise?
Yeah, once a month. It's a case by case basis. It depends how much we got at that particular taping. There's been really good tapings where we get in there, do our business, and we're gone. And we got the pizza lapped up by 10 o'clock. And then there's some where, you got to do the backstage stuff or you got to work twice and all that. And those can get a little hectic. But what pro wrestling company isn't hectic? I mean, that's the same. So that's good. And the weekends that we aren't working for MLW, we absolutely are working all around the Carolinas. I think coming up through the end of the year, we got almost every weekend booked up basically till early December.
Yep. Yeah. One of our regular promotions that's once a month is in Winston-Salem. It's ML, Brian Hawks, and Tracy Myers, the same guys. I'm sure you've heard of WrestleCade. Everything's weekend. Brock and I work for them every month. I've been there almost 11 years. Brock's working on about 3, I think.
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Like 2 or 3, about 3 full time, I think. And we're with them every month. And then that's our 2, MLW and AML. That's our 2 commitments. And then we filter in some other promotions here and there if we're able to.
Okay, so that keeps you sharp and it keeps you doing something and making a living. And it's, I guess it's got to be cool to keep getting out on the road and seeing all your friends and then even, wrestling new folks and seeing people come up.
Yeah, meeting people. And then for me, as long as I've been doing it, seeing guys that I've known a lot of my career, meeting new people, being on the road with Brock is an enjoyment as well. That's why I'm still doing it, tagging with Brock now has revitalized my love for wrestling. So that's been an enjoyable part of it. But being on the road, meeting people, meeting the fans, and then talking to them is another good part of it, just to see how much, because they'll tell you how much they appreciate everything we're doing for the business.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I guess there's got to be a lot of interaction like that with the fans, because I think the fans have got to be feeling now maybe the wrestlers are a little more approachable than in the past. Or I don't mean that sounds shitty, but
no, it's the truth.
It's
not as taboo as it used to be, where you just keep quiet. You didn't say a word. Now with social media, you're more approachable. You're more humanized than what you used to be.
That must be kind of refreshing for y'all too, though. So you're not having to, dare I say, kayfabe, but you're not having to live this show. People can actually understand that the performer or the athlete is a little more layered than what you're gonna see on TV. So, well, we're gonna let you go first. I want to see if we can get some plugs for any of your stuff that's coming up, any other matches besides the Charleston show, and any social media you want to plug.
Instagram, Brock Anderson AEW, all lowercase, and then Twitter, Brock Anderson with 3 lowercase n's at the end. And the biggest show we got, it will be after the Charleston MLW show at the WrestleCade weekend, as C-Dub had plugged earlier. I mean, it's a wrestling extravaganza. I can't give you the exact figure.
Yeah.
I think last year, like, it had around 20,000 people foot traffic, 3 straight hours of wrestling. The wrestling fans' dream. It's me and C-Dub's favorite weekend of the year.
Next weekend, next Friday, I'm wrestling on a benefit show for my best friend's kid, Colby Carino. He's having a benefit show where he was injured. It's in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And my social medias, everything's at ECW Anderson. And then the Saturday, Brock and I are in Denton, North Carolina for AML. We have an 8-man with the Dawsons against AJ Francis and his crew. AJ Francis from TNA. So we have an 8-man going on with that, and that should be a good show. And then the guy that's on your shirt will be there as well.
Oh, right on. And to everyone, if this video doesn't get through, I'm wearing my George South #1 t-shirt. So I really appreciate y'all coming. Hopefully we can weasel our way backstage or something during the show and come say hello. And DJ, you got any save rounds or anything?
No, I'm all set.
Okay. Well, everyone come on out November 20th and see the MLW Gato, Tequila, Lucha de los Muertos, 6 p.m. door, 7:30 bell. And also we will be posting links to upcoming events. Thanks for coming and God bless.